good. I like it to play it. This one is really APM demanding. It's really multitask heavy. So you definitely want to practice this a lot before you're actually going to do this in a ladder match. Because you're just gonna lose. Because this build requires a two-pronged attack, and you're going to attack up while you do that attack. So it's pretty hard, but if you practice it, you're going to be absolutely fine.
Okay.
Alright.
So what is this built then? What is this built?
This build is a reactor opener. Instead of a Reaper, you're going to open up reactor and get 2 Reapers. So you can already be a bit aggressive with your 2 Reapers, because if you micro correctly, 2 Reapers can beat a Stalker. But that never happens actually, but strategical wise you can beat a Stalker with 2 Reapers. But the opener itself is really much the same. You're going to be 12 Rex, 12 gas, but instead of a Reaper you're just going to build a reactor. So I think we can speed up a bit here.
So again, same timing for the supply depot, same timing against for the gas and the barrack, right? But instead you do a reactor opening.
Yes, and one difference as well is you don't pull out of gas and you get your second supply depot before you expand.
Okay. And what's the benefit from at this point compared to the last build that we've done? What is the
benefit you get from this build is that you can basically do so much damage to your opponent he is actually dead, because you're going to get 6 Hellions, and 6 Hellions in a mineral line going to mean just dead pros.
So this is more like a more aggressive playing style compared to the last one. The last one is more, you know, a bit more solid, a bit more standard type pressure push. This is more aggressive and trying to kill a lot of economy from the Protoss player.
Yeah, the last build was pretty much just really defensive in the early game and really solid, and this one really relies on timing attacks. So I just want to pause here and with our 40 scout, just rally your CC at 13 supply to a base and scout. And there are some rules in scouting in TvP. It's really easy to follow steps, and you're gonna get a lot of it. So let me see. The first thing you want to look at is a chrono boost. How much chrono boost does he have and where does he spend it on? So let's say if he chronos on the cybernetics core, you know he will do some gateway pressure. If he chronos his mothership core out, he will do some also some pressure. But if he saves it up, he can do maybe a 4 gate. But there's also a pretty good chance he is going to save it up for tech. So that's the first thing you're going to look at. After you check his chrono boost, you're going to count the gases. And let's see, in this replay, we see 1 gas just been taken. If he is on 1 gas and he doesn't have a lot of chrono boost, you know it's going to be a macro game, because he doesn't have the gas to tech, he doesn't have the gas to be aggressive, and he also doesn't have the chrono boost to be aggressive, so it's going to be a macro game. And the last indicator to scout Protoss is to count the pylons. We see here he has 2 pylons, which is totally fine, and this probe here, so that's actually the cybernetics core. But we already know that's a macro game. But if he doesn't have 3 pylons in his main, the first 3 pylons are going to be in his main, and if there aren't 3 pylons, he's proxying something. If you only see 1 pylon, you know it's a proxy oracle, and if you see only 2 pylons and he doesn't get a 3rd, it may be a later oracle or some twilight proxy. going to
Game
get a bit
paused.
back to
Game
get some
game
builds
paused.
again.
Game
Alright.
resumed.
So you get your second supply depot after you start your Reapers.
So 2 Reaper come out this time.
Game
Yes,
paused.
2 Reapers at the same time. And from then you're going to build Marines out of your barracks. And also when you build your Reapers and it gets a bit high on your minerals, you're going to send
Game resumed.
an SCV to the natural to build your command center. So you do have a really early expansion. And with your first 100 gas after the Reapers, you're going to build a
Game
factory.
resumed.
And know that the
Game
supply
paused.
depot is really late right now. But that's just to get your units and your factory out quicker. So again,
Game
get
resumed.
supply block like a few seconds, but that's just a build, it's not a mistake. So get your supply depot at 24
Additional
supply.
supply depots required.
Try to scout, poke with the Reaper. If he tries to move out, kill the Pro. And just keep on making Marines. But this is the last
Game
cycle of
paused.
Marines. When your factory is nearly done, you're going to stop making Marines and you're going to switch over the factory on the reactor. And you're going to build a
Game
starport.
resumed.
This better be good.
So you're going to build Hellions and Marines.
Game
And one
paused.
note again, we know that it is a macro game because we scouted one gas and we actually saw the Nexus. So this is your first timing attack here. You can move your 6 Marines you built with your 2 Reapers and go force a photon overcharge. And you may think, why would we do that? You may have 2 Stalkers. If you force your photon overcharge, you won't have 2 to defend both his main and his natural when you hit your 2 prompt attack. So if you can get the photon overcharge, you will be really satisfied and you're going to be really happy.
Game resumed.
So you see me move out right now, and you see me build Hellions. And these Hellions are not for control to get your opponent back, they're going to be YOLO Hellions. Try to get kills.
Upgrade complete.
And when your starport is done, you're gonna get your Manifec. But in this game I got it quite late, so that's a bit of a mistake. But there it is. And but the AI doesn't have a mothership core, so there is no photon overcharge here. But normally you would force an photon overcharge here. So you see me also pull back right now to not kill him.
Additional supply depots required.
We're going up to 6 Hellions, and then you're just going to build 2 extra barracks and a tech lab, and you're also getting all of your gases at the same time, and an engineering bay. So
Game paused.
this is your composition. You're going to have 1 Medefec filled with Marines to drop the main, and you have your Hellions to come to the natural. And while you do this, you are going to set up your follow-up, which is a mid-game timing push with 3 barracks and an engineering bay.
Game resumed.
So the initial attack can be quite gimmicky, isn't it? You try to drop in the main and try to pull the Protoss unit back to the main to defense, and then the Alien will run by and burn everything in the natural, isn't it? So
Yeah, this is a bit. This is quite risky. If you don't do damage, you're a bit behind. But if you do damage, you're going to do big damage. So it's really rewarding if it will be alright.
would you switch the other way around, like dropping Haley in the main and then have the Marine push from the natural? Is it a better way of doing it, or?
No, I would do the Marine drop, because if you drop Hellions, the Hellions do splash damage, so you better have all your Hellions firing at once than one unload shot and load another one shot. You're going to be better off if you just drop the Marines and move your Hellions. And one trick in a real game is you see your typical Protoss player will send all of his probes when you see the drops to the natural. So we will not move them from here to here. So they lie beautiful. So if you just count to 5 when your drop gets in, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to move your Hellions in. And when your Hellions go in, the probes are moving down the ramp. And you're just going to Korean barbecue those probes and you get like 10, 15 kills.
That'll be awesome. That is actually quite a stylish move, that is.
You can ask Hunter, Arc, or Sailor. I once roasted his probes with this build.
Sailor!
He sent it indeed. But he still won, because I'm horrible.
Okay.
So we continue.
Game resumed.
I didn't move my Hellions in this game. It's also really bad by me, but normally just want to move in and kill all of the probes on the natural. So if you go to the everyone cam, you see the Protoss player doesn't have any probes at his natural, but normally by the time you will see 10 probes at the natural. So, and while this is going on, you get your reactor on the starport, you have your upgrades going, your units going,
Add-on.
and there's the GG from our opponents. Any questions?
Wow, that's very interesting. There's a bit of mind game in there as well, obviously.
And it's a pretty gimmicky mind game build, because it's not in the current meta. You will never see actually a Hellion run by. So well, you need the surprise, but even if he sees it, it really works. You can still do lots of damage because they don't know how to deal with it.
Sure. Okay, so there's a second replay then. A little gimmicky built order from mine here. So little drop play from the top, and then little Hellion run by in the natural, and tries to split up the damage in both sides at the same time, and hopefully we'll get a major economy advantage, and then with a macro production behind it, and hopefully win with a push. So yeah. Any questions, people?
Taking questions.
Let's keep it in mind. If you get scouted, do you still go for the same pushed?
Yeah, if you're doing this build, there's really not a real transition out of it.
So sorry, mine.
Really
You're a little bit quiet there. Can you just repeat that, please?
Oh yeah, sorry. If you're doing this build, you don't have a real transition out of it, because you already have the factory, you're already building the starport, so you have to do something with those buildings, because otherwise they're just going to be useless, and you will be even more behind. Then you go for it and do little damage. So you definitely still go for it, stick to your plan.
Yeah, it is a very important point actually, and every single game you should always come up with a strategy, and you stick to that structure, that plan that you have, and then you make a slightly adjustment to each of it, and then you've got a clear mindset of the game, so that always be better than try to improvise and then start with a fight. It's worth practicing and you become so comfortable about what you've built, and then even though you're on the downside of it, you can always turn it around because you're so sure what you're doing, and that is something that for a player that should be always stick to their mind. Yeah.
Definitely.